What's good, roommates? Today we're reacting to the world's most dangerous weapons, alright? So we finna check this out. Before we do that, like the video. I had to get aggressive with them sometimes.
Okay.
Because they don't be listening, you know?
I understand.
You know?
Yeah.
Create a website, head over to wix.com/go/info in whole.
Hold on, let me see.
It's not true, or at least not true anymore. There's only one rule: win. Well, actually, that's not true, or at least not true anymore. In the aftermath of World War II, 196 nations ratified in whole, or with some reservations, 2 additional treaties to the Geneva Conventions, detailing the basic rights of wartime prisoners, establishing protections for the wounded and sick, and protecting civilians caught on a war zone. The conventions also laid down the framework for the international banning of certain weapons of war, which we'll look at today in this episode of the infographic show, Top 10 Banned Weapons of War. War is dirty business, and in the aftermath of the First World War, the nations of the world moved to limit the scope of its destructive impact.
Wanna know why? Wanna know why? What you looking for?
Luna was tapping me.
What happened? What happened? She gonna try too. Alright, anyway. You wanna know why that happened? America. We did it. It's our fault. It's our
Everything's
fault.
always our fault.
It is. We dropped a damn bomb. Atomic fucking bomb. Fine.
Horrified by the mass casualties inflicted by chemical gas attacks, in 1925, at the initiative of the United States, France, and Poland, the League of Nations drafted the Protocol for the Prohibition of the Use in War of Asphyxiating, Poisonous, or Other Gases, and of Bacteriological Methods of Warfare. In essence, international law forbade the use of chemical or biological weapons in war. Since then, other weapons have been added to that list, all with the intent purpose of limiting human suffering or damage to the Earth itself. Without further ado, here are the top 10 banned weapons of war. Number 10, mustard gas. First synthesized in 1822, it wasn't until 1860 that the dangerous properties of mustard gas were documented. As a chemical weapon, and dubbed the king of the battle gases, mustard gas is surprisingly the least lethal of all the various chemicals that were used in World War I, and it's estimated that only about 1 to 5% of the people exposed to it were killed. Mustard gas's real power lay in the terror it could sow among enemy troops, as well as the incapacitating effect exposure had on unprotected soldiers. Inhaled into the lungs, it could be fatal, but while a gas mask would protect from inhalation, there was nothing soldiers could do to protect their exposed skin. The effects of exposure were not immediate, but within hours, the skin would begin to blister, specifically in moist areas such as the armpits and genitals. As the blisters popped, they would often become infected, which is where mustard gas became one of the most lethal gas weapons ever used. Infection typically kills more soldiers in war than actual combat does.
That's crazy.
Right, now I gotta, like, my stuff. Jesus. That's gross.
That is.
I never knew that. You are... I see it. I see it. It's... You...
It was bothering my lip.
That's nasty, though. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's
Learn something new every day, right? Say right?
Mm-hmm.
Say right?
Right.
Right, yeah.
Worst of all, exposure created sensitivity, and further exposure at even lower doses would cause a reaction. Number 9, chlorine gas.
Oh, yeah.
Another of the gases used extensively in
That's you know how when they be like, don't mix certain chemicals and shit like that, and then that's pretty much, that shit's deadly for real, for real.
World War I, it was first deployed by the Germans at Ypres on the 22nd of April 1915. Though an 1899 treaty had forbidden the use of gas in war, the Germans sidestepped the wording in the treaty by releasing the gas from canisters, not projectiles as outlined in the treaty. Planning to release the gas from their own lines, the Germans waited until the wind turned towards the French forces and then let the heavier-than-air gas drift across no man's land and sink into the French trenches. The attack was successful, and 100 French troops were killed. Chlorine gas irritates the eyes, nose, lungs, and throat, and in high enough concentrations can fill the lungs and kill by asphyxiation. Though seen as a horrific weapon of war, the Germans argued that the intent was to actually shorten the length of the war and thus limit overall suffering. Number 8, phosgene gas.
God damn, how much fucking gas? These niggas is fucking criminals.
Oh my god.
Bro, nah, this is crazy, bro.
That is crazy.
think there's people that literally wait for times like this to just bring out the most horrific types of fucking weapons. Because how did you find this out? And who said, you know what? That might be the go-to. You know what I'm saying? Instead, like, you know what I'm saying? I get, like, we fighting and shit, but that's a low blow for real.
Yeah.
Like, damn, I can't even breathe air, nigga. That's crazy. That is insane.
May have been dubbed the king of the battle gases, but when it comes to sheer lethality, no other gas used in World War I could top phosgene. Colorless and smelling like moldy hay, not an uncommon smell in the trenches of Europe, most troops did not realize they had even been exposed to phosgene until it was too late. A slow-acting gas, victims' lungs would fill with fluid, and after a day or two would suffocate to death. No treatment existed at the time, and the best a medic could do is make victims comfortable. Although the Germans were the first to use phosgene, it became the weapon of choice for the Allies and would ultimately be responsible for 85% of the 1.2 million casualties of chemical warfare during World War I. Number 7,
Wow.
nerve gas.
More fucking gas. Like, golly, can we find something like, yo, nah, this is insane. I ain't gonna lie.
That is.
2017, 100 people, including children, were killed in a nerve gas attack in Syria by pro-government forces.
2017.
That wasn't too long ago. I don't like that. I don't like that. That's too soon. That's too new
Close
for
to
me.
home.
Yeah.
With hundreds left injured. An independent investigation later identified the culprit as sarin gas, a highly lethal nerve agent. Banned by international treaty, nerve agents are some of the most lethal forms of chemical warfare weapons and work by disrupting the ability for nerves in the body to transmit chemical messages between each other. Colorless, tasteless, and odorless, the first sign of exposure is uncontrolled drooling from the mouth, followed by foaming. Nausea and stomach cramps follow, along with uncontrollable urination and diarrhea. Eventually, the victim's lungs become paralyzed, leaving them unable to breathe. Number 6,
Wow.
plastic landmines. Landmines have been around for centuries, albeit in very crude fashion. Some of the first ever used were by the Chinese during the Song dynasty against an assault by the Mongols. Filling cast iron cannonball shells with gunpowder, they had an extremely long fuse which had to be lit by hand by brave ambushers just hundreds of feet away from the enemy. Modern landmines are completely autonomous and can vary in tripping mechanisms from pressure-sensitive triggers to tripwires. With the advent of the metal detector, landmines were designed using plastic in order to avoid detection. However, they were quickly banned internationally due to the difficulty in locating fragments via X-ray by treating physicians. This would cause prolonged suffering and was ultimately seen as inhumane. Number 5, biological weapons.
That's crazy. Like, there's still some places out in, I think it's like out in, what forest were they fighting in? World War II? World War II? Or, no, the, what's that war? Where we went, when we went to war with, Japan. No, not Japan. Was it Japan?
This is bad because I just learned about this last semester.
I can't think of, I'm trying to, it's not the, it wasn't North Korea or South Korea, right? I don't think we went to war with them. It was, what? I can't think of who we went to war with. But it was the most recent, was it Nam?
You said it's the most recent?
Not like the most recent, like, because we in Afghanistan. It was like in like 1980 or something. Or 1970s.
German?
No. Who did we go to war with? What the fuck is that? Financial solution? War in 1960? Was it 1960? Vietnam. It was a Vietnam War.
I was gonna say that.
So why didn't you?
Because
You didn't want to be wrong? Nigga, I'm out here
No.
spewing false information. And you see me, you watch me spew a whole bunch of different names. And I'm like, bro, I know it. And you just sitting there. Oh, I was going to say that. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Damn. But there's a bunch of landmines still out in like the forests and shit like that. So there's some places you can't go. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Let's go.
Huh?
Let's go.
You could go.
I said
You good. I don't need that.
Though around for nearly the entire time that man has waged war against itself, biological weapons were only recently banned under international law. Most biological weapons take the form of weaponized disease agents, such as bacteria and viruses, but they can also include fungi, toxins, and rickettsiae, parasites that normally affect arthropods, but can be deadly in humans. Modern conventions don't just protect people from biological weapons, but actually prohibit their use against plants and animals as well, preventing nations from engineering plagues that can wipe out a nation's livestock or crops, and thus creating famine, which is seen as unnecessary human suffering. Number 4, flamethrowers. Made famous for their use in World War II in Vietnam, flamethrowers were the answer to combating enemies entrenched inside fortified bunkers or underground tunnels. In these confined spaces, flamethrowers can actually be more lethal by sucking the oxygen out of the atmosphere than from...
Imagine you're like in this little confined ass space, you can't get nowhere. And niggas is just shooting you down with a nah, that is insane. That is that's crazy.
I think I wrote an essay about this.
How so you wrote an essay about something I was literally just asking you about? Yo, you ain't shit, bro. I ain't gonna lie. You ain't shit, bro. Come on, bro.
It's okay. Sometimes you gotta learn on your own.
Don't fucking blink at me. Don't.
From their actual flames. While technically not illegal, their use around civilian areas has been banned due to the incredible damage they can inflict on infrastructure and their inability to be properly aimed. Number 3, napalm. Another weapon made famous by the Vietnam War, napalm was actually developed in 1942 at Harvard University. As a mixture of a gelling agent and some kind of fuel such as gasoline, napalm was originally designed to be used as an incendiary device against buildings, but was later primarily used as an anti-personnel weapon. As the sticky substance sticks to the skin, it produces severe burns, and sharing in many of the same characteristics as a flamethrower, it can also make it impossible for individuals to breathe. Though not outlawed for military use, its use in civilian population centers is illegal, once again due to their propensity for incredible property damage and inability to fully control its effects. Number 2, poison bullets. Early bullets weren't very accurate or powerful, so militaries around the world would spike them with small amounts of poison or fecal matter, while not adding any immediate lethality.
Shit? They shoot motherfuckers with shit? Nah. Hold on. Poison? I'm like, damn, that's crazy. But shit? Nah. Shooting somebody with shit is insane. No, bro. Shit? Like, doodle, like... Cause like, yo, what kind of fucking menace do you have to be to shoot somebody with your shit? I took a shit. Let me dip these bullets in here real quick. Let me show these niggas something.
Toxic compounds deep into the body and result in serious infection that would set in long after a battle took place. In modern projectiles, the addition of poison would be largely pointless as well, as modern bullets are already devastatingly powerful. Because of the lack of immediate lethality and suffering caused long after a conflict is over, poison bullets have long been banned by international law. And finally, number 1, dirty bombs. Nuclear weapons are bad enough, and the international community has been unsuccessfully trying to ban them since their inception. Nuclear weapons are primarily designed to destroy military or civilian targets, yet to achieve maximum explosive impact, they are detonated high above their target where the pressure wave can spread. This has the side effect of causing most of the radiation released to be harmlessly blasted up into space or dispersed over a very wide area, limiting its effect. A dirty bomb, however, is a device that is designed primarily to create radiological fallout rather than kill outright, with the goal of poisoning land, sea, and air for a very long time. A regular nuclear weapon can be converted into a dirty bomb by simply programming it to detonate at ground level, thus creating massive plumes of radioactive debris and irradiating dozens of square miles. However, other devices, such as a cobalt bomb, can be detonated high up in the air and produce tremendous amounts of radioactive fallout. These dirty, or salted bombs, have long been banned due to the long-lasting and catastrophic damage they do to large swaths of the environment. Man has waged war since his inception, but it's only in
America. Us.
Us.
Fucking, we the problem, clearly. Clearly, we the
Past
problem.
few centuries that we've begun to try and limit the scope of the destruction that we inflict on each other. As technology progresses and makes more apocalyptic and destructive weapons available, perhaps it's a sign of hope that even the most embittered enemies, such as the Soviet Union and the USA, have abided by these international laws. Maybe one day we can even move to outlaw war altogether. You know what we think should be illegal? Terrible websites. And with Wix available right
W plug, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to you for your sponsor. But I'm not playing it. But listen. They shooting niggas with shit. That's crazy. I understand like dirty bombs and shit like that, but to shoot somebody
How
with
did
your
I know you was gonna say that at the end?
What?
But they shooting niggas with shit.
They shooting niggas with shit. They shooting people with doodle. It's not no, you're not supposed to do that, bro. That's crazy. You taking doodle, putting it in the tips of bullets, and shooting people. That's insane. That's insanity. Like, that's crazy. But that has been the end of the video, man. I hope you guys enjoyed. Tell them what to do.
Go ahead, like and subscribe, and don't subscribe to the video.
What?
Not our video.
Oh my god.
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment down below to whatever video you guys want us to react to. But we have to go because we have to put the groceries away.